Hey everyone, this is Vil. So in this video, I am going to do a drop servicing challenge where I am going to build a step-by-step drop servicing business. And to make this a little bit more interesting, I am only going to use Fiverr to find the services to drop service. And to take it to the next level, I'm also going to use Fiverr to build the drop servicing business itself, because honestly, I don't really have the time to do all of that myself. And also because I'm only using Fiverr, I am not going to use any paid media to get sales. So I'm actually only going to use free traffic, which I think is going to be very interesting because I have a lot of people messaging me asking how to get organic traffic, how to get clients without big investment. So I'm going to apply some of the strategies that I have in the Pinterest course that I'm building, and we will see how exactly that is going to work out. I've seen some of these challenges, and every time it seems that people are just choosing a logo design service to drop service, and I honestly don't need to make a YouTube video to tell you that that is not a good niche and not a good service. So I'm going to try and find something a little bit more interesting than that. So in this part, I am going to find, first of all, a good niche. Then I'm going to find some good services to drop service. And then I am going to build out website for those services. And then in the next part, we are going to have all of the marketing, the sales, getting the clients, and all of that fun stuff. So make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to see the second part as well. And also every single week I give out one of my courses completely for free, so just press thumbs up on this video and leave a comment down below to enter the competition. I do also have a bunch of useful freebies and whatnot, so all of the links and everything I mentioned in this video as well, everything is going to be linked down below in the description. Now let's jump straight into the video. Alright, so the first thing that I am going to start out with is finding a good niche, and honestly you can go both ways. So you can find a good niche or you can find a good service, but in this case I'm going to start looking from the niches to begin with. And I already decided that I am going to do B2B, so business to business, and I do talk in my other videos a lot that you can also, don't forget, because everyone only talks about B2B, but you can actually do business to consumer as well. That could work really well, but because most of the people want B2B, I thought it would be more interesting if I do this as B2B video as well. So first of all, what I'm doing to find a good niche, I am going to jump on YouTube and I'm going to see what exactly is trending on YouTube. So I am looking at business as a general big niche. So I'm typing that in and then seeing what within that niche is trending, and then I'm trying to basically narrow down to see what's good. Alright, so first of all, I'm going on YouTube and I am just typing in something like business ideas, and then basically want to find some videos like this. So 8 most profitable business ideas, 7 business ideas. Usually I want to find something that has a little bit more, something like this, 15 new pandemic created ideas. So this seems pretty good because it shows something that is definitely very recent and a pretty big amount, so I have more to choose from. Also something as top 20 small business ideas. So basically just going to go through these videos and make a list of the different business ideas, the different niches that there are. I can also do the same thing, just going on Google, typing in the same thing, and then I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper one by one into these different niches. Okay, so I went through YouTube and basically I have narrowed down different ideas. So I have around 15 different niches within the business niche that I see that could be performing pretty well on YouTube. So the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to go on Google Trends first of all, see whether these are trending upwards, so the interest is increasing or going downwards. Also going to check out Pinterest trends because I'm going to be using Pinterest for my marketing, acquiring clients. Also, I am going to even check out YouTube channels, whether the channels are growing. And then lastly, I want to check out the search volume to see whether there is actually enough of search volume for me to pursue a niche in the first place. If it's too small, then perhaps it's not even worth pursuing it. Alright, so first of all, I went on Pinterest, but it seems that the topics that I chose are too small in search volume to actually appear on Pinterest. But what I have basically done is when you type in the keywords of a specific term, in this case Amazon FBA, I got the pins sorted out by repins, the first few pages, and as you can see, there are some repins that have, let's say this repin has 6,122 saves, this has 1,200, 900, 600, and so on and so forth. So what this shows to me, there isn't a ton of saves in this specific niche, but what it shows me, because there are a couple of pins that are performing really well, then perhaps it's the case that there is a lot of interest, but there aren't that many people that are putting out content about Amazon FBA on Pinterest. So I do need to go a little bit deeper into figuring out, looking at different accounts and different pins, how many people are actually creating content. But for me, I would say this is a pretty good sign to see that there is some interest on Pinterest for this specific niche, and I could be pursuing that on Pinterest as my marketing choice. Also, another thing that I like to do is go on this website called Social Blade, and basically what it does, it shows you stats of different social platforms. And as you can see, I just put in right here the different YouTube channel, and if we scroll to the bottom, you can see it shows you here the graphs of how fast a YouTube channel has been growing. And as you can see, this specific channel, which is about Amazon FBA again, is growing a lot. In the past year, it has grown a lot in views and in subscribers. You do have to keep in mind that when it comes to YouTube, that's how usually channels work in general. They start growing very slow, and then it just goes really quick up. So what you really need to do, because you can't really look at one channel and decide that, okay, this niche is growing, you need to take a lot of channels, put them all into this, and then see if all of these channels seem like they're growing fast in the past year or so, then that is a good indicator that there is a lot of interest in that specific niche that you might want to pursue. After this, of course, I'm going to Google Trends, and a couple of things that I like to do on Google Trends. So when I put in the topic, first of all, I have to choose the country, or I can do worldwide, and it really kind of depends, because usually, let's say if I'm doing something like Pinterest, I'm really going to get traffic from anywhere in the world. I do know that around 50% plus of my traffic is going to be from United States, but if you're doing something like ads and you're choosing specific targeting and you know it's all going to be United States, then you definitely want to go with United States. But let's say in this case, I might also go with worldwide. And the 12 months is usually good sometimes when it shows you, not in this case, but sometimes it shows you that the trend is looking like it's going to go upwards. But most of the time what I like to do is I just go past 5 years. This is kind of the most important for me. And as you can see, in this case, blogging has been kind of around the same interest. And if you choose, actually, let's do United States. So if you put in United States, you will see that it's actually going downward, so the interest is actually decreasing. Another cool thing what I have been doing is I type in something like, let's say, podcasting, and then you can compare two different terms and see how they are performing. And as you can see, it's kind of okay. Podcasting is kind of, surprisingly, in United States, it's growing very slow. I would have expected it's going to be faster. Let's see worldwide. So worldwide, kind of the same. As you can see, podcasting is mostly American thing. There's much bigger gap between blogging and podcasting when you choose worldwide. And this is kind of also nice to see in one place of how big of a difference it is in terms of the search volume, because this is basically what it shows you. It shows you the search volume of the two different topics. So as you can see, in this case, blogging is probably has at least 5 if not more times more interest than podcasting does. Okay, so I went through all of the 15-ish terms that I chose, and by the way, I'm not going to tell you what the niches and the exact services are that I'm going to pursue, because if I'm putting in my time and effort and I'm going to make money out of this, I want to keep on making money out of this, and I don't want to just reveal it and then basically throw the services out, get them ruined. So I'm sorry about that, but hopefully you will still get some value from this. So most of the niches, they were either being stagnant or they were actually decreasing, but I did manage to find a few niches that have been somewhat growing over time, and especially as you can see, the red line has been increasing a lot in the past year or so. So these are some of the niches that I see that could have a lot of potential, but what I'm going to explain later as well, this isn't one of the main factors. Don't look just into that, just look this as one of the puzzle pieces that if you have this, that is something that is going to help you out. Unless I would say if it's a completely new, let's say a niche that has just started, it just emerged, and there isn't much competition, it's completely new, then definitely jump on that. But otherwise, I would say this is just one part of the equation. Another thing I also did just to make sure that these are decent niches, I went on Google and I simply typed in the niche. So as you can see here, Amazon FBA, and I just looked at the search volume. I'm using one of these Chrome extensions here, Keyword Surfer. I will leave again all of the links down below so you can use these tools if you want as well. So what I want to see is just that it has a decent amount of volume, and on the side right here you will see that it gives me certain suggestions. So I honestly just like to go through these suggestions and sort of see how many related key terms there are and what are the search terms of these related keywords. And actually sometimes it's even good to find some services just from these keywords. You can get a lot of ideas, but basically I just want to see what exactly, to understand a little bit better what this niche is looking like. Alright, so I kind of got an idea of what the niches are looking like. So now to actually find a service, first thing what I will try to do is I will try to figure out what are the biggest problems that people, businesses within those niches are facing right now. And then I'm also going to try to see what are the best solutions, the biggest benefits, and if possible, what could be the highest ROI, return on their investment, because there are services that can be just beneficial. Let's say if you are providing branding services, obviously it's beneficial for a business to have nice branding and all of that, but it won't show in exact numbers how many more sales a business got because they have a good branding and all of that. But if I can have a service that shows direct return on their investment, then they are going to be a lot more happy with my service, and then they are going to be a lot more likely to, well, purchase in the first place and keep on buying and being my clients. And also the last point what I am going to look at is finding something unique, and this is, again, I would say this is one of the main things as well. I don't want to pursue those same services. What I said at the beginning, everyone's going about logo design and all of that, and obviously you're not going to succeed in that. I want to find something that is a little bit more unique. So in general, what I'm going to try is to combine all of these different things and find a service that ticks all of these three different boxes. So when going on Fiverr right now to look at the services, first of all, I am going to basically look for solutions. So I already made a list of the different problems that the businesses might be facing, and now when I go on Fiverr, I just need to see if I can find solutions to fix those problems. So that's how at least I like to think about these things. Also, again, I'm going to focus that those solutions are actually unique services. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm not just going to look at my niche and that's it, but I'm going to go through other niches and see what kind of services are in those niches, just to get a little bit more ideas. And also the cool thing about Fiverr is that I actually can see the amount of orders, so that doesn't mean that I necessarily need to go after the highest amount of orders. That can kind of mean that it is saturated, but if there is a decent amount of orders on Fiverr, that is sort of a proof of concept that people are actually interested in this service, and also there are reviews and all of that, so that helps out as well when it comes to actually delivering all of those services. And also sometimes when I go on Fiverr, I do find the services that are almost perfect, but they are slightly different from what I exactly want. So if that's going to be the case, I am going to try to message some of these sellers and see if we can perhaps change the services a little bit. Okay, so one problem that I see that a lot of people do is when they go on Fiverr, they just type in exactly the niche that they are pursuing, and they're just looking at the services that they see on that page, and that is it, and that leaves you a little bit limited. So I'm not saying that don't do that. So let's say in this case we are doing that as well, and we are choosing, let's say, blogging, and we're going through these services. But what you will notice when you go through these services is that most of them obviously are going to be, okay, creating attractive blog images, writing articles, writing amazing blog posts, SEO optimized articles, all these kind of things. So as you can see, probably 90-80% of the services are going to be writing blog posts, and if we are trying to sell the same service, honestly, it's probably going to be really difficult to sell that because so many people are already doing that. There are some exceptions, as you can see right here. This service actually looks very interesting. So I will convert blog post, article, or text to video with voice over. So this is actually something that I feel would be very interesting for bloggers. So if we open the service in another tab, first of all, we can see it has 255 reviews with 4.9 stars, which is very good. So that's kind of one of the parts why I do love Fiverr, because you can actually have the references to see is there demand and how good is the service provider, whereas sometimes when you're outsourcing elsewhere, that can be a little bit difficult. And the other thing that I really love as well is that it actually has 16 orders in queue. So sometimes a service might have a lot of orders, reviews that they collected over the years, but the fact that this specific service has 16 orders in queue right now shows us that there is a lot of interest right now in that specific service. So this is a really good indicator. And if we look at prices as well, it looks actually really cheap. So as you can see, it starts from $5, and then you have the standard and you have the premium. So those don't include voiceover, so obviously you need voiceover. So we're going to go with the, let's say, $25 plan, and that includes 500 words. So that isn't too bad, and I feel like a lot of bloggers might be interested in something like that, taking their content that they have already created and putting that and creating a video content out of that and putting that on YouTube and monetizing that, getting extra traffic from that. That sounds actually really good. So this is definitely something interesting. So when you go to the main page and you scroll through your niche, you can find some interesting things like that. But as I said, most of the time, as you can see here, it's going to be sort of the same gigs that a lot of people, A, are already kind of expecting. You're not really surprising anyone, and B, there's a lot of competition. So what I like to do is I like to sort of go through all of these different sections right here and look what is happening in basically different niches and get an ideas if I can take some of these other services that don't appear when I type in my niche keyword, if I can take these other services and somehow apply them to my niche. So let's say when we look at graphics and design, obviously we have the logo design and all of that, but as I said, I think you sometimes just have to think of, is this a saturated niche or is this not? If it is, just pass it. Sometimes you don't even need to do any research. But let's find something more interesting. So if you look, something that stands out for me right away is merchandise, t-shirts and merchandise. So I know that a big problem that a lot of bloggers face is they don't know how to monetize their blog. So if we can create merch for them to monetize as a service, that could be something that's pretty interesting, and probably I would assume not a lot of people are offering this service yet. I would need to do some research to actually figure that out. So yeah, so I'm basically going to do the same process as well, go through all of these digital marketing, writing, the business services. Even you can go to lifestyle now on Fiverr, which is actually amazing as well, and this allows you to do more as well, business to consumer drop servicing. So another example would be, let's say if we go to specifically Instagram services. So something that stood out to me right away was this customized story icons. So I don't really care about the icons per se, but if I could get a service that customizes stories, so once again, let's say for bloggers to increase their traffic, if I could have stories created for in each blog post, that could get a lot more traffic for their blog. There's also management, account management, and we also have video. So I know a lot of people struggle with Instagram video, so something like that as well. So I don't think when it comes to blogging right away you are thinking about videos on Instagram, but if you really think about it, bloggers struggle a lot to get more traffic to their websites. So if I could have a service, perhaps combine these services together, so get a service that is creating videos for specific blogs, get another service that is creating stories for those blog posts, and then get a manager, Instagram manager, who's actually going to optimize, schedule out all of that and do all of those things. So if I combine all of that in a nice package, I could probably try to sell that to bloggers, and perhaps that could be performing. I'm also just giving you examples here, so I'm not saying this is a good service. I don't think honestly I would pursue this, but just as example, this is something that could actually work. Alright, so I went through Fiverr, and the first thing while I was going through Fiverr, what I really tried to do is I tried to think, how exactly would I go about solving these problems? So perhaps even sometimes, even if I'm not familiar with that niche or it's not something that I've done before, I would think, okay, what are the other things that I've done and how I solved my other problems? Can I apply some of these methods to solve these problems that the businesses are facing in those niches? And what I decided to do, again, I went on and I found some services from different niches, so not even services related to those niches, and also again I am combining the different services to make them unique and to create more of a system and provide more value. I have some other videos where I explain this in depth, how to actually find a good service and all of that, so I will leave some links for that down below if you want to learn more how I do that. So in total I decided to go with 3 different services, not just one service, and I'm doing that because first of all I do want to kind of just experiment a little bit, see what is performing well, but also what this allows me to do is it allows me to have different price ranges. So I'm going to have some services that are going to be less expensive and some are going to be a little bit more expensive, and then I can also tackle different problems. So when it comes to the actual services that I chose, I'm not going to tell you the exact services, but what I can tell you is that first of all, the first service is going to deal with the problem of not getting enough traffic. So basically I'm going to help to generate more traffic, generate more sales. The second service is going to help to improve conversions, and that is, I think, also a very easy service to be selling on again and again, because if you actually manage to improve someone's conversions from, let's say, 2% to 3%, then they see all of the benefits right away very clearly. They actually can see tangible things, and then they are going to be recommending you to other people, and whenever they need help again, they are going to be booking you once again. And the last service is going to be automating the workflow. So what I mean by this is basically we're going to take some of the work of the business and we are going to do it for them much quicker and faster and all of that. So basically some of the things that the business doesn't need necessarily to do themselves, and I'm going to have, basically I'm combining different services to create sort of a system that allows me to complete certain tasks very fast. So for the business, if they would do it themselves, it would take them a while to actually do that, but for me it's going to be very quick. So it makes sense for both parties parties. It's basically a win-win type of situation. Again, I have a separate video where I talk about this whole concept of win-win method, so I will link that below. But these are my 3 different services that I am going to go with, and also I am going to have different pricing models. So I am going to have one-time payments for some of the services, and I'm also going to have recurring payments, which is always usually what you want to try to pursue if possible, because recurring payments, that money coming in all the time, is the best option. It takes honestly quite a lot of time to actually get those first customers, especially the first ones. So if you manage to acquire them and they can keep on paying with you, that is the perfect situation. So just to give you a quick example how I went about doing this, let's say if I'm looking at the blogging niche, what is one of the major problems with bloggers is that they can't get enough traffic to their blog, and then I'm looking for different solutions. So let's say I can do something like Pinterest marketing to drive traffic to their blog. I can do link building as well. I can do outreach campaigns, which I think not that many bloggers are actually doing themselves. I can run ads, which I think is a little bit more unique, because I don't think a lot of bloggers think about actually running ads to their blog, but if I do it right and I manage to get good return on investment, that can actually make a lot of sense. Also doing collaborations. I don't think a lot of bloggers or any bloggers really do collaborations, whereas if we look, let's say, at social media, a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of Instagram accounts are blowing up because they're doing a lot of collaborations. So I think that could be really good for blogging as well, and it's something that not a lot of people think about. I hope you understand where I'm going with this, trying to find a unique service. Also something like Reddit marketing as well, just something also that not every blogger is doing and perhaps not thinking about right away. These are, by the way, very simple examples as well. I am not going complicated with this. Another example to understand just a little bit better what was my thought process. Let's say another issue for bloggers is not being able to monetize their blog. So what I'm doing here is what I mentioned before. I am trying to look at other niches and see how I can take aspects from other niches, services from other niches, and apply them to create solutions for my specific niche. So let's say in this case, I would look at what are some of the other business concepts that I can take, and I can apply and can create a service applying these business concepts to my specific niche. Let's say in this case blogging. So I could do something like print on demand, something that I got the idea from Fiverr because I saw the merchandise, so creating merchandise for bloggers. Also, let's say creating affiliate marketing program as a service for bloggers, getting sponsorships for bloggers, so as a service, also basically helping them to acquire sponsorships, creating digital products. So this could be done very simple on Fiverr as well. If I just combine a few different services, I can easily create digital products, and I can help to the bloggers to actually monetize their blog with the digital products. Also something like drop shipping as well, completely different concept, just to help the bloggers to monetize their blog. So once I kind of have narrowed down some of the niches and the services, next thing that I am doing is I am looking at the competition. And first of all, what I noticed was that there weren't that many services in general within the niches that I have chosen, but there was a lot of content, which is actually a good sign, because that shows to me that there is a lot of interest, and perhaps at some stage, if I want, I can use those different blogs and social media personalities as influencers to actually sell my services. And then aside from looking at the niches as general, I try to actually look for the exact services that I have in mind to see whether other people are doing those services or not. And I found very few people that are actually doing something similar that I want to do. So that once again is a really good sign. I would say that might be even more important. To find that good unique service might be even more important than finding a good niche. So now that I found my niche and my services, the last thing that I need to do at this part, I need to create a website for those services. So I'm going to be using WordPress because I just love WordPress and I've been using it for many years. There are again other options how you can go about doing this. I will leave some of the videos and links down below for you to explore a bit more, but I'm using WordPress and I'm also using Divi theme because the Divi theme just allows me to customize everything very perfectly. And I need to customize everything a lot because first of all, I am going to build out a blog, so I'm going to use some of the content I'm going to mention in the next video, in the next part, how exactly I'm acquiring clients. But I'm going to use blog posts to basically warm up my audience and all of that. So I will want to build a blog on the website, and I'm going to try and build out some case studies as well that could work really well to again warm up my potential clients for them to actually be more willing to make that purchase. And lastly, of course, I need to create different sales pages for the 3 services that I have chosen, and with the Divi theme and WordPress, this makes it very simple. I can create really beautiful pages that I can customize completely everything. So I'm not going to show you the exact sales pages that I am building, but if you really want, you can go on my Pinterest course and see the sales page because it's pretty much kind of the same concept. So as you can see, first of all, I am sort of just providing the problem of what exactly that specific niche is facing. And then after that, I'm basically just providing the solutions of what you can expect after you are using that specific service. And then I am providing a unique value, how my service is different from everything else. So let's say in this case, higher return on your investment, how you can get a lot more for the money that you invest. After that, I'm also doing some comparisons, so what it looks like if they are doing some of the other services, or perhaps what it would take for them to actually do all of this themselves, and what it looks like if they buy our services. And instead of just talking about all of the different features, what I am doing is I'm talking about all of the different benefits that they are going to get if they are getting our services. So I hope you find this interesting, and hopefully you're finding this useful as well to see the whole process. As he said, this was just the first part. There's also another part coming out with all of the marketing and getting clients and all of that. Honestly, I think that is going to be a lot more interesting part. So do subscribe to the channel to see when that video is coming out. Also, if you found this video useful, make sure to press thumbs up, and I'll see you soon.